I just wanted to say that as part of my preparation for this DLC, I started playing through the original campaign again on Pandemonium difficulty, which means with a limited number of lives. Oh really? And are you going to tell them that you didn't even finish the first chapter and then rage quit it because you were thrown back to the start? You motherfucker! It hasn't even been a few days since we learned about the massive layoffs at id Software, and according to initial reports, most of those affected are supposed to be programmers. I give the big brains at Microsoft a year,
Maximálně 2.
before they realize that letting AI do the programming instead of people is, at best, a road to hell. I'm not saying it isn't a useful tool, for example for faster searches or explaining something simple, but the old saying still holds true: a good servant but a bad master. The new Revelations DLC for Doom the Dark Ages is thus a swan song of sorts for all these id Software employees. And if this really is the last major project from this legendary company, then they fucking nailed it. I just didn't quite expect that after the obligatory introductory video previously in the Doom the Dark Ages, they would throw me into the arena with all weapons, all perks and fully upgraded Doomslayer. So you can imagine what that looked like. I was frenetically mashing all sorts of buttons, trying to remember what each of them actually did. Still, I beat it on my first try on the highest difficulty, Nightmare. But if you think I'm going to start bragging now, don't worry. The very next fight nicely kicked my butt. Still, with each new enemy that appears, I'm slowly getting the hang of it again. My habits are coming back, my timing is improving, and my skill is increasing.
Flashback.
Zvlášť když jsem se v závěru kapitoly pořádně zasekl. Skočil na mě první Agadon Hunter a teda namazal si mě solidním způsobem na chleba. Ale nakonec jsem ho přeci jenom uspamoval. Finální skóre asi 1:20.
End of Flashback.
All of this is wrapped up in a story that follows on from the campaign in the Dark Ages. Azrak is dead and the Doomslayer has turned his attention to the High Council of Hell. I have to admit that the opening minutes of the DLC literally screams "they will betray you" from the screen, because the protagonist finds the artifact leading to the council very easily. Completely ignores Khan Miker's threats about how the Sentinels are suddenly worshipping the Slayer instead of them, and when Marok shows up and Miker says he could help you, even I started to be suspicious. Nevertheless, the Slayer pushes forward relentlessly, finds the council's chamber, immediately takes down the Hell Priest Belias and... In recognition of his loyal services, the council transforms Belias into this overpowered brute, against whom even the Doomslayer, for now, is no match, and so the priest's final words truly come to life. This will indeed be the Doomslayer's grave. Or so it seemed. The lifeless body is found by the architect, the demon architect of Hell's oldest structures, who was deservedly rewarded for his services by being locked away in Purgatory. By the way, I wouldn't have imagined Purgatory to be full of ice. Anyway, things aren't looking too good for the main character. His shield is broken, his suit is broken, the BFG lost somewhere. At least I got that new spear. Which lasted exactly 10 seconds, because in the tutorial area I immediately got all my weapons back. What a shame, it could have been more suspenseful in that regard, like fighting with just the spear for a while and then finding the lost gear somewhere. Oh well. So the spear is my new addition to the arsenal, and developers decided to completely and brilliantly confuse all of us. While with the shield, parrying attacks is the right mouse button and throwing is the R key, with the spear, for some mysterious reason, it's exactly the opposite, thus totally confusing every player on the world. Thank goodness you can reconfigure the controls, that was the first thing I did. In some ways, the spear works exactly like the shield, parrying attacks, throwing, but its main advantage is the ability to latch onto an enemy or onto specific points and swing around everywhere. There's also the option to dodge green attacks with a perfect dash instead of parrying them, which increases the spear's power and unlocks special abilities, throwing, thrusting the spear into the ground or impaling an enemy. So far I have to admit I don't know if I like the shield or the spear better, but I would definitely love if I could have both of them at the same time and play like a little hoplite. But what brutally kicked my ass, and I'm afraid every encounter will get worse and worse, is the Archvile. It's still the same bastard as in the original games, except now he hides behind shields while spawning more enemies. Thank God they are not immortal this time around, even though I automatically assumed they would be at the start. Yes, you can interrupt the summoning, but when you got 40 more demons on your tail, there's no time to go looking for him or waste time dealing with him. One thing though strikes me as odd right from the start, the AI of the enemies. Sure, you can't expect any miracles, but I often notice groups of enemies just standing there, waiting for me to get close enough for their AI to kick in. You will notice this most clearly in larger arenas, where you can often just stop and stare at them while they stare back at you. In a way, what am I complaining about? If they were actually coming after me, that would be a huge problem. But still, it looks incredibly stupid how they are literally sleeping right there, relatively close to me, and I didn't notice this problem in older installments. There's still the option to upgrade your spear, add new abilities to it, and do the same with your body. This is done again through leaders, except this time it's not the game that decides which upgrades you get, it's you. What a nice change. And of course there are plenty of secrets, though a good half of them are hidden behind stupid purple doors labeled endgame, which is not a nice change. I get that Purgatory serves as a central hub from which I'll set out to 3 separate locations and later be able to return, but I don't know, almost every other door is endgame and it started to piss me off. Anyway, my new Smurf Life Architect body fixed my broken shield and I finally understand how to move various crates around or jump to elevated spots. I've already found a few of them. I can't upgrade it though, since it's basically held together with the duct tape, but it works better than a spear against some enemies. At least for me. The second location, Chasm of Xal'Goroth, really started kicking my ass. I barely survived one room, only to get wiped out more right next door. On the other hand, I can't deny that once I've successfully taken all demons down, that great feeling of a job well done is just as amazing every time. And thank goodness some fights have checkpoints in the middle, because that makes it a little easier for me to catch my breath. I'd like to say more about the DLC, but all those fights are so similar or even the same that it's really not worth describing them individually. And honestly, I have so many ways to play that I can't even keep up with using them all. For example, I had a speed thrust for a while now, even a slightly upgraded version, and I practically never use it.
Just go away.
What interested me the most about the story presented was the revelation of the protagonist's past life. How, as Corporal Flynn Taggart, he was a member of a Marok Special Forces who had very unconventional ways of solving problems, and his superiors often wanted to court-martial him, but even higher-ups always swept it under the rug. The pivotal moment is the mission in a hospital full of, I assume, terrorists and bombs, onto which Taggart places more bombs and blows it up. No, seriously, I didn't quite get that. Just like why he just stood there for 4.5 minutes. Yeah, he was probably defending that timer, but all terrorists were already dead, no?
Clear the area.
Evac inbound. Good work. Hacker, get back!
Do you know the meme? It's beautiful. I've been staring at it for 5 hours. Yeah, that was me when I saw this monitor. I know, these Easter eggs always drive me absolutely crazy. In a note found later, I learned that aside from suffering from PTSD, Taggart immediately lashed out at his superior, and it's sad, though very realistic, that higher-ups also swept this mess under the rug and turned the clueless lieutenant into a hero. On the other hand, I finally had the chance to play through the reason while the Doomslayer, or Doom Guy if you will, ended up on Phobos as a prisoner. You should go back to the video. I know, but I never actually played the original Doom that much. Yeah, we always prefer Wolfenstein. And to be fair to Wolfenstein 3D, the footage from Doom comes from the remastered Steam version, while the origin looks something like this. It's been a good 25 years since I last played a shooter using just the keyboard. In any case, I successfully cleared all 3 zones, and now the first boss, Marok, stands in my way. The first phase seemed insanely easy to me, which makes it all the more frustrating that I had to repeat it so many times. There's also checkpoints between phases, which I think I already complained about in the original game, and to no surprise, my opinion hasn't changed. On the other hand, there are 3 phases because Khan Maker keeps reviving that poor guy over and over, so Marok has to keep fighting, fighting and fighting.
Useless.
Oh, so that's how... Oh, I get it now. That architect is some sort of MacGyver, right? Oopsie doopsie, back to the Sentinels, fully in the Miker's clutches. But as soon as the new ruler Tira spots me, she immediately launches Operation Ash, the elimination of the Mikers. Anyone who isn't completely loyal is immediately eliminated. Except, as usual, the demons got mixed up in it, so classic situation, you know how it goes. And as a cute bonus right before the final boss, a little red rune, Berserk.
He would rather destroy this world than share it with his enemies. Then let this primitive realm die with you.
I almost forgot about you.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
But I'm very surprised at how simple, actually rather primitive, the final foe is. It only has 2 faces, and most importantly, aside from the location, there isn't that much of a difference between them. In fact, it's minimal. Just like the ending, Tyra yells, "Hurdur, let's go to war!" and that's it. Which isn't true at all, because I finally have that master key in my hand, so if you'll excuse me, I'm going to check out those places that were closed before. Wait a second, where are you going? I'm off my way to open all those purple doors. And what about the video? Oh, you will finish it, no problem, mate. You were so freaking clever at the start, so I have no worries. See ya. Well, okay, I didn't expect that. So, from what I can see here, there are 3 menu features in each chapter. An old school level, and it's freaking awesome! Which unlocks the shotgun from Doom 1 at the end. Even more special leaders, meaning even bigger fights than usual, and then challenges like destroy all the teleports within a certain time. The latter 2 are important for unlocking the final boss down in Purgatory, for which I need to assemble a key. I can also boost my stats by 1 level and get additional abilities for the spear. Oh, and I also found my long lost baby. Anyway, this is an awesome DLC, despite the obvious drawback that you can't play individual chapters separately, a feature that's supposedly coming later. Gone are the dragoons, gone are the robots. The developers have gone back to what really worked and polished it to near perfection. I get why some Eternal fans are still whining that Dark Ages isn't as great as Eternal, and the shield is stupid, and the spear is stupid, but my favorite from the modern trilogy is the original Doom 2016, and at the whole I don't care about anything, I'm just here to kill demons vibe of that. Oh god, it's already 10 years old game. So it not might be to my taste either, but I'm not whining about it on Reddit, you know. But you are always whining. What happened to that I'm going to open purple doors of yours? Now I get why you keep interrupting me. It's actually pretty fun. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm leaving completely satisfied. I still have to open some doors and take out that boss downstairs and who knows what else, so video's over, I'm going back to the game. Oh hell no.